Did you guys see the new Creed movie yet? That's what I did last night. I'll get to the gambling stuff here in a minute. Let's talk about more important stuff. Let's talk about the latest installment in the Rocky series, which really isn't an installment in the Rocky series when you think about it, because in this one, Stallone did not have a hand in writing the script. 29-year-old indie director and writer Ryan Coogler helmed this particular project. And I got to tell you guys, it was an outstanding movie. Little long movie, but such a different movie. Not what I expected at all. Although I have to admit that I did expect a very good performance from Michael B. Jordan. I don't know if you're aware of him. I mean, some people used to see him on The Wire. I got hooked on him when he played the quarterback on Friday Night Lights for the final 2 seasons of that epic TV show. Always have been a fan of him. Oh, my God, bulked up tremendously for this one. But what a good story. And I got to tell you, Stallone, I thought, was excellent in the movie as an actor. And that talk you're hearing about him perhaps being a shoo-in for Best Supporting Actor, he really did a good job. You know, Stallone, listen, you know, there's Stallone who's all camp, who's larger than life. You know, it's those quiet performances. I thought even in the Rocky Balboa movie, the last installment in the franchise, the last one that he helmed a few years back, I thought he was excellent. But when you think about Copland, for example, I thought he was outstanding in that particular movie. But he was very good in it. The movie still had, and I'm not giving you any spoilers here, okay? And I'm not that type of guy. You know, the movie still had echoes of what you would expect in certain parts from Rocky films. But, you know, if I had to rate them, I mean, I actually have to tell you that I thought this particular film definitely stood up with the original Rocky from 1976. I mean, it wasn't campy and over the top with Mr. T and Hulk Hogan like Rocky 3. It thankfully was not god-awful like Rocky 4 and Rocky 5, but damn good movie. Interesting thing I read in, I think it was the review at Rolling Stone for the film, Ryan Coogler actually grew up watching the Rocky movies with his father. So he had a love for the series, and he brought that history and passion to this and definitely took this series into a new direction. I'll be dying to see how it does box office mojo numbers when they come out, the official box office numbers here in the projections for over the weekend. But if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go see it. Quick sidebar. You know, as a reporter, I met, you know, being in the locker room with every single guy in baseball and basketball and hockey that I ever collected their trading cards. It's kind of a cool thing. I mean, the first time I ever walked in the locker room, Kareem, Worthy, Magic, Julius Erving. First time I ever walked into an NHL locker room, it was like, Bobby Clark, Bernie Parent. I've been watching you guys on TV all the years. You know, of course, I'm saying this internally because I'm being cool and I'm being professional. You know what I mean? But later, when I was doing TV up in New York as an analyst on Sportsnet New York, every Friday they used to have, because of being based in Manhattan, they used to have celebrities come through. So a lot of people came through the studios. And since I was in the latter half of an hour-long show, I was in their final 15-minute block, you know, the stars usually, it was just me and them sitting in the green room for the first half hour of the program. A lot of people came through that studio, okay? But I got to tell you, the guy that or the star, actor, actress that I liked the most, it was Carl Weathers. When he came in, and he was there promoting some awful movie that he happened to be in about 5-6 years ago, it was the weirdest thing. I have never seen worship for a particular celebrity like that, other than in the sporting arenas, okay, in that realm, than I did for Weathers. I mean, people were just naturally calling him Apollo all throughout the studio. People were just falling over him, getting pictures, and what a nice guy. So everybody goes out into the studio, and it's just me and him now. I just come out of makeup, so I'm going back into this little green room. And believe me, this isn't like, you know, at the NBC studios. This green room is like the size of your walk-in closet at home that your wife puts her shoes in. Okay, that's how big this is. So it's kind of close. So I walk in, and at the time I had this, I didn't particularly care for it, but it was this very expensive Armani suit. So I walk in, and there's Carl Weathers. He sticks out his hand, and he says, "Nice suit." And I, naturally being the flippant jackass that I am sometimes, I say, "Loved you in Action Jackson." And he gives me that laugh. You know that laugh that Carl Weathers had in the Rocky movies and on In Still of the Night? He gave me that laugh. and it was great. But just a nice guy. Sat there and chatted with him for like 15 minutes. Just a down to earth guy. Thing that surprised me the most, he wasn't as big. Of course, nobody as big as when you see them in real life as opposed on the silver screen. But he wasn't as big. He was also, let's see, first movie was 1976. This was 2008. He was significantly older as well. But again, nicest guy, and I would say of all the people I met, right up there with all the jocks, etc., I would say that Carl Weathers was that man, and just a super nice guy as well. So I've digressed. I've wasted some time. I'm going to get to your free plays here in just a moment. Boy, are the Packers and the Eagles in trouble? I mean, we saw the Eagles coming here, okay? It makes you wonder, watching the Packers, how the hell did they go to Minnesota and beat the Vikings last week? They've now lost 4 of their last 5, and yesterday losing outright. How many people went down the tubes with teaser plays involving the Packers yesterday? Because of reality, listen, I have to tell you as well, I give you the Packers as a free play. I mean, there was some doubt as to whether they'd cover, but did anybody really out there think they'd lose the damn game? But I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I really have been impressed with the way Jay Cutler has played this season. He is that type of quarterback. You either love him or hate him, depending on whether he's on your team or not. Yes, he's turnover prone, but he's one of these guys who, he can throw the costly pick six, he can fumble it, and he'll come right back. He has no conscience, which is kind of ironic because last night they were lionizing a guy there in Brett Favre who has that on his record. It never mattered what Favre did on the play prior. It's what he was going to do next. And Cutler has a little. I'm not saying he's Brett Favre. Don't get me wrong, but he has a little of that magic in him. Listen. The easy game yesterday was Carolina Panthers. I told you, if you happened to get my analysis yesterday, and believe me, I hope you didn't go out of the way to buy my picks, because the way I've sucked over the past week and a half, I wouldn't either. But, all the times I was the reporter, I can tell you, I mean, when people say bulletin board material, motivation inspired by cheap talk, the Carolina Panthers had all of it going in their favor yesterday. And did they kick ass or not? Yesterday, that happened to be the 8th consecutive NFL winner for Anthony Redd. Today, he has an even bigger play because yesterday was his 109 winner number 4 out of 5 and his second since last Saturday on the Carolina Panthers. You got it at over half price off. Well, today he has the half price play of the day, an even bigger play. It's his college football winner number 20 out of 28. More importantly, it's the 5th ever 150-dime college football release he's had since he joined the site in March of 2009. It's his 2015 Oddsmakers Era Game of the Year. He says this underdog goes on the daytime card, and he loves this particular game, and I saw how big it was, and I made it as the half-price play of the day simply by using coupon code REDD, R-E-D-D. Now, keep in mind, Anthony, these are the numbers that he has accumulated here as one of the 3 hottest handicappers at the site, along with Brad Wilton and Trace Adams. Long-term, well, he's won 39 of the last 59 days and 30 of the past 44. And in that stretch of 44 days, he's made $10 bettors over $8,100. Short-term, he's won 18 of the past 25 days and 6 of the last 7. And over the past 25 days, $10 bettors have won over $5,600. Again, college football winner number 20 out of 28. And weekday, Monday through Friday, football winner number 16 out of 22. You get it for half price simply by using coupon code REDD. This is even bigger than his 100-dime winner he had in college football last Saturday with Indiana over Maryland, bigger than his 80-dime winner he had with the Lions over the Raiders on Sunday. Who did he have Monday night? A 50-dime winner. It was the Buffalo Bills. I mean, the guy's been on an incredible roll. It's the half-price play of the day. Matt Rivers has a big play today going. Blank check release. I have to just double-check here. It's the 17th blank check release he's had in his 13-plus years here at the site. It's on your Tulsa-Tulane game at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. His last blank checker was Ohio State over Illinois in college football, and it was a winner 2 Saturdays ago. You get today's play, saving $70 in the process by using coupon code BLANK, BLANK. And finally today, ending at midnight Eastern, my continuation of my Thanksgiving Day 2-day sale, now called the Black Friday Special, ends at midnight Eastern time. You can save $175 off the purchase price of any handicapper 60-day package simply by using coupon code SAVE175, SAVE175. Remember, if you happen to already be involved in a handicapper's package and you want to extend it out another 60 days, you save $175 off the top. And if you happen to have any instant rebates, they are applicable as well. You can also save $125 off the purchase price of any handicapper's 30-day package by using, now this will be a surprise, SAVE125, SAVE125, or you can save $50 off of any handicapper's 7-day package by using coupon code SAVE50, which is a great thing because, you know, if you happen to be liking one of the plays of one of the hot handicappers here, you know, you're going to get their football today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, and, you know, 3 more days after that, basketball and whatever else is available. So all those coupons are over on the homepage. Should you ever have any questions about them, you can always contact customer service. Let's get rocking here with your complimentary plays. Let me just see which is the later of the 2 games here. Boy, I was just looking at that Western Kentucky Marshall game. You know, I'm going to talk about that game. I don't have a pick on it, but that's a damn tough game here to consider as well. My first play today, I'm going to go with San Jose State as the 7.5-point home dog against BYU, or Boise State, excuse me. Now, I used San Jose State as a complimentary play last Saturday, and geez, how easy was that one? I mean, they jumped out. It was like 35 to nothing, I think. They were up at halftime at Hawaii in that particular game, and they rolled 42-23. I mean, it was a walkover game. And that win, which came after 2 bitter losses, when they lost in overtime by a field goal at Nevada and they lost by 1 point at home to BYU 17-16, that win put them in the position of becoming bowl eligible should they win today. Now you go Boise State, much better team than San Jose State. I will grant you that. But you have to wonder about Boise State's motivation in this particular contest today, because this is a Boise State team that's coming off 2 straight losses. And more shocking, those 2 straight losses happened on that famed blue turf. Yeah, Boise off a 37-30 loss to Air Force as a 10.5-point home favorite. And that came a week after they lost to New Mexico. How do you lose to the Lobos at home when you are a 30.5-point favorite? Yes, 30.5-point favorite, and you lose to the Lobos in that game 31-24. They have only covered twice in their last 8 November games over the past couple of years, and they're only 1-4 in their last 5 conference outings as well. Meanwhile, the Spartans have covered 4 of their last 5 at home. They have a very strong offensive attack right now. The running back, what's his name? Tyler Irwin, who is a senior here, and he's already run for over 1,417 yards, I think, for the season. But their quarterback has been progressively getting better week after week. He's one of these dual threat guys. Kenny Porter, I think is his name. Porter or Porter. I can't remember, to be honest with you guys. I know he has 8 touchdowns combined in the past 2 games, so not too shabby. I like San Jose State in this game. Can they win this game outright? I don't know. But I think they can stay within the margin. I think it's a 3 or 4 point game one way or another. So I'm going to go with San Jose State here because really Boise has absolutely nothing to play for in reality in this particular game. It'll be an interesting dynamic because you have the number 1 pass defense in the Mountain West, that being San Jose State, going against the number 1 pass offense in the Mountain West, that being Boise State. But again, I think San Jose State plus the points is the way to go in that one. Now, the Navy game. You know, it dawned on me about 3 or 4 weeks ago, which is probably 3 or 4 weeks too late, that this Navy team is actually pretty damn good. Their only loss this season came to Notre Dame. Nothing to be ashamed of there. You see how the public has bet this line up to 4 points. You got a Houston team that dropped its first game of the season last week at Connecticut. Now, you had a couple things going against the Cougars. They were coming off back-to-back close could be games, which they won against Cincinnati and Memphis. Then they were going to Connecticut. Their starting quarterback, Greg Ward Jr., had a ankle sprain. He did not start the game, came in and played the final 2 possessions. But as a 10-point favorite at Connecticut, they lost that game 20-17. Now, these 2 teams are naturally still right there one loss apiece. They are battling. The winner will represent that particular division in the first ever AAC inaugural championship game against either South Florida or Temple, depending on what the Owls do tomorrow. So a lot at stake in this particular game. I just here have to wonder that Houston, 3 tough games in a row, 2 that they won, and then they knocked themselves out from ranks of unbeaten by losing last week at Connecticut. What's their mindset going to be here? Everybody says that, Houston has such a dynamic offense and they have such a good run defense, but they're not playing triple option attacks like Navy. And you know how hard, and you've heard it over the years, where coaches and defensive coordinators say you just can't suddenly take 4 days of practice and suddenly scheme when you take on a triple option attack. And the fact is that most of Houston's opponents this year are running variations of the spread. Cincinnati, Memphis, Temple, etc. That's what the AAC is all about. So the other thing that makes Navy so doubly effective here in this particular contest, and anytime they play a game, because of that triple option, it's an offense that is designed to also wear you down and take time off the clock, which reduces the number of possessions you have. When you think about it, teams like Houston and Memphis and Temple, Cincinnati, they will get 14 to 18 possessions a game, right? But when you play a Navy team that's firing on all cylinders like the Midshipmen right now, those possessions and those scoring opportunities might be only 10, 11 a game. So it makes turnovers more magnified. It makes inability to capitalize in red zone opportunities more magnified. And it also leads to fewer scoring opportunities. I just have to go with Navy in this one. I know it's been a great season for Houston, but listen, Navy has lost just one game, again, to Notre Dame. Is it a big game for Navy? Yes. But is it any bigger for Navy than its service academy games against Air Force or Army? No, this is a team that is accustomed to playing the 2 big games. Navy's only lost 2 games in the past 2 years. 2 games in the past 2 years, both of them to Notre Dame. I don't see the Irish anywhere in Houston today. That's good for Navy, okay? They got Keenan Reynolds, who's had an outstanding season, might even have worked himself into the Heisman Trophy discussion. Who was the last Heisman Trophy winner for Navy? Was it Roger Staubach, I guess? I mean, long before my time, but Napoleon McCallum? No, he didn't win it, did he? No, okay. Heisman Trophy, it's like one of those things. You win it, it's like, does anybody care years later? I mean, it's not in my wheelhouse. Let's just say that. Again, I think that the Cougars are in a vulnerable position here. They did beat Cincinnati at home 33-30. They did beat Memphis at home 35-34. Neither of those teams could play any defense, as you know, and then they go to Connecticut and they lose to an offensively inept Connecticut team and lose that game outright as a 10.5-point favorite. So, with a New Year's Six bowl game possibly at stake, with the berth in the first ever AAC game, title game at stake, I'm going to go ahead and take Navy. Since the line has already crossed 4, I'm going to go ahead and tell you also, if you're going to ride Navy, remember, if the line crosses 3, 4, 7, sometimes 10, I always say to go ahead either by a half point down or half point up, depending on whether you're on the underdog or in the favorite in this one. And I'm going to go with that triple option attack of the midshipmen to get the job done today. So, Navy and San Jose State are your 2 complimentary plays. That'll do it here for your Friday card. Make sure you go see Creed this weekend. Remember, I get a percentage. I'm just kidding you. I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.